Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name's Stephanie, this is Fab with Steph, and today I'm going to be making a look with my first ever Pat McGrath palette. It is this look, so if you want to see how I did it and just get my first reactions to the brand, then go ahead and continue watching. Thank you very much and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so these are the brushes I'm going to use. I've got my blender brush, my pigment packing brush for my crease, my little blender that I use for underneath. I just nearly prodded myself in the eye with it, and the one that I just thrown on the floor, which I'm just going to go ahead and pick up. Okay, and the one I dropped is this guy here. So this is actually like a teeny little blending brush. I like to use it to do my inner corner because it just applies it really easily. But in all honesty, I'm sure there are other brushes you can use for these same purposes. These just make my life easier, and I kind of enjoy anything that makes my life easier. So the palette itself is here. This is actually my first ever Pat McGrath palette, and I've shied away. I've been looking at the new one, like the Celestial Divinity, but there's not a lot of people that I know personally who actually have a Pat McGrath palette. So I was really nervous to use this. I did think, you know, like, should I just resell it at one point? But I've had to think about it, and like, when am I going to get the opportunity to use a £50 eyeshadow palette? So it's only £6 and it's a £50 eyeshadow palette. So this one is called, the Golden Opulence eyeshadow palette. There are two matte shades, which are, I think you can probably see, this one here and this girl here. This one's more of a shimmery, and these three are definitely closer to that glitter formula you'd be used to seeing. The gold apparently is very typical of Pat McGrath, and nothing else. Like, if I take away that shade, I'm not entirely sure why this would be called Golden Opulence, but I'm quite happy anyway. I have the feeling, though I'm not sure, I would need to check, that this might have been like a Chinese New Year type palette, and that's why I was able to get a hold of it. So I got this free as an Agora treat. So I'm really fortunate in that sense. If you don't know who Agora is, I do have videos about that on my channel. I'm not going to spend time talking about them today, so you can go ahead and look that up if you're interested. I'm going to go ahead and start with a matte shade for my crease, and I'm going to use that darkest shade, and then I'm going to use this to blend into my brow line basically. And so there is not a lot of fallout that I'm seeing from the product itself. As soon as I like tap the brush, like, usually you can see quite quickly, it is quite pigmented. Feels like it's quite creamy. Like, it feels like I'm applying, usually I don't think that I can really tell when I'm applying it on, but it kind of feels like I'm applying velvet, which is really strange. How does that feel to my finger? Yeah, quite velvety. Obviously I have just low-key blended it a little bit with my finger, but that wasn't really my intent. I was just trying to feel it out. I'm gonna add a little bit more colour because I think that I dragged a little bit more than I usually would. And I'm gonna do the same for the other side. Kind of makes my eyes look super bruised, this shade, but obviously you are going to be blending it down into something else, so I wouldn't worry too much. I'm gonna do that because I quite like how that looks. Yeah, this is definitely very pigmented in terms of colour. Just going to pull this underneath because I can tell that I've got quite a lot of the product still on the brush. The difference between the way that I'm doing my eyes now and how I usually do it is, you might notice my makeup's already done, because I've already been out today, so it is a bit of a strange one. I'm going to take my blending brush, and first I'll do the blend, and then I'll do the bit on top to sort of, and people do this in different ways. I kind of got this from, I think it's Tati Westbrook, is that her name? And she does the circle up towards the brow bone. I kind of do that, and then I mix it with what I see drag queens do on RuPaul's Drag Race, and they do more of like a sweeping motion like this. I think a combination of the two. I mean, I say they do. The person that I'm thinking of, and I can't remember her name, which is like a Des Loki, she does it this way. I'm sure that all of the drag queens do their makeup differently, because you can see that it's very different results. But the fun thing about makeup is there is no wrong way. Okay. So that is it, a lot more blurred out. This is quite a dark shade, so I personally would probably use a bit less of this unless I was going something. I'm using the lighter matte shade now just to dab onto the edge, and I'm just smoking that out. I'm blending literally right up to my brow line. Oh, I'm not even in the bit that excites me yet. I'm not even there. Now I get to say what of the glitter shades I'm using, and I've been told that these will not transpire on camera. Transpire, is that the word? It may be the word, it might not, who knows. It may not show up as well on camera as it does for me here. So even looking at this here, I can see that it looks glittery in person, more so than I can see on the camera. What do I want to use? I think I want to stick, because this is for me more of these sort of pinky tones, I think I'm going to avoid my little gold friend here, and I'm going to use this one, and this one, and I will start with this girl here right in my corner, and then this in the center, and then this would just be my inner corner a little bit. That's what I think I'm going to do. So with Pat McGrath eyeshadow, as they suggested, it is better if you apply it with your fingers. I have already... what's the word? Sanitize. I've already sanitized my fingers prior to starting this video, so I would recommend doing that. And then, oh, you bold. So for a start, this color is literally gorgeous. What even? I'm not sure that that's what I thought this color was going to be like, I'm not going to lie. But it is making me feel very, I think it's very womanly. It's a weird thing to say about an eyeshadow, isn't it? A womanly eyeshadow. And I don't even mean that in a way that would be exclusive, like, again, drag queens, non-birth assigned females. I feel like it's just womanly, isn't it? It makes you feel like grown. I don't know if that makes more sense. Like if you use like the Maddie Ziegler palette with Morphe, you're all cute and playful and like young and fun. This makes me feel like smoldering. That's what I mean. I'm going to go ahead and use that lighter shade now. Again, I just rub my finger on it like that. What? It's super velvety for a start. I think that blends really nicely into one another as well. So it is lightening the eyeshadow look, but not being like a complete contrast, so it blends super nicely. I have many questions for myself at this point. I'm going to use that little brush I told you I like to use for the inner corner and just take this last shade and just, I can do it watching you like a weirdo, and just put it here. And what I tend to do is just trying to line it up. Now when you've done your makeup before you do your eyes, like if you're having to do your eyes, you know, maybe you've been at work and you're going out and you're fixing it, you are going to fix, or like need to go back in and like fix this under eye just a little bit, unless you're doing quite a bland look. I actually can't believe how nicely that kind of blended. This is taking me no time at all to do this. And that's like the thing, it's like I was thinking, oh maybe it would like look way more luxurious or anything like that. It's not even that. It's like it's taken me so much less time to do a really, like what I think anyway, I don't know what you guys think watching this, a really pretty eyeshadow look. And I've not even like come close to it, and I don't even usually think it looks pretty until I'm done. I say that all the time. I'm like, is this horrible? Like, what am I doing? Should I stop? Should I give up on this? And I'm always saying stuff like that. I'm going to cover her back over. And let's do my eyeliner. Hello, girl. So this is the Morphe liner. I do not have a Pat McGrath liner. Girl, I'm poor. I actually can't believe how much I like this. It's kind of crazy. Where did I put this line? I've made it quite sideways. Whoa! I don't know what I just did there, but it popped and it gave me a fright. The worst time to get a fright is when you're doing your eyeliner. The absolute worst time. And I've made a mistake. I don't know if you've seen me do it just there. Literally just here. So we're about to find out how it works when you're fixing that. These eyes are not even friends, never mind sisters. Come on. What have I done different? Pull this line in a little bit further in the other eye. This line is a bit higher. And this eye. And then I can't even actually see this bit in my lash line. Okay, so it's not doing what I want it to do, but okay. So I'm going to take that little inner corner brush that I'd used, and I'm going to use it to lightly buff over where I made the mistake with my liner. What? Sickening. It's gone. It's actually gone. Normally it'll go a little and you kind of need to fix it and play about and maybe layer some on top, but it is literally gone. Okay, I'm in love. I'm in love. I should get the Pat McGrath palette. You should get the Pat McGrath palette. I really want to try the Fetish Eyes mascara from that collection. I believe that they might still be doing a promo where you get a mini one free. It's worth £12, so it is definitely a nice saving. But they also do end of season sales, and honestly, if I can get 25% off the palette, like, I know that it's a really good price point for her. It's 54, and the one that I'm showing you is 50, and there's 12 shades, so although they're half size, it's actually really beneficial, and they're so pretty. But that is still, honey, that's still a lot of money. We're in the middle of a coronavirus pandemic. Give me a break. I buy so much makeup though, so it's like if I could switch it out and just buy like a couple things a year. Can I just tell you now though, that's not gonna happen. I already know. It's just the sort of habits that you get into, isn't it? Like, I'll try, but I like having like little treats. I'd almost rather have the little cheaper treats regularly. Keeps me sane, keeps me happy, something new to play with, distract myself with, other than feeling like samey. They say that when you're in interviews and they're like, do you like change? Or like, how are you coping with change? I'm like, I don't cope with change. I am change. Like, I like it to change. I want things to be moving and to be fast paced. I speak slow and it's quite calming apparently. But I move fast. Talking of moving fast, I saw an apartment in London yesterday, and I submitted the application form, so that is me, hopefully, with all being well, heading back to London before the end of this month. She moves fast. It's quite funny because sometimes people say, you know, they don't think that you'd be good for fast pace, and it's usually because I'm plus size, which I find really interesting. There's a weird association with people that plus size people are lazy, and I'm like, no, I actually probably do more than you. But I would even just accept you acknowledging that I'm equal to someone of another size. Just because I don't spend my life in the gym, which I could do, I wouldn't be very happy, but I could spend my life in the gym. Because I spend my life doing other things. It's actually not to do with laziness. It's nothing to do with laziness. Some fat people will be lazy, but so will some skinny people. Like, there's no correlation between the two things. You can't guarantee that a thin person that you hire is going to be lazy or, no, hardworking, blah, blah, blah. It's just nonsense. I forgot what my point was there, but I'm glad that I could share that experience with you. Why is it just so easy? I'm gonna go and grab my ring light and let's see what this looks like with the light on it. Okay, so I don't know what you guys think, or if you think it's as amazing as I do. I'd love to hear. But thank you so much for watching. I will do more looks of this. This really was just it was sitting there, I wanted to play around with it, I wanted to know whether or not I should be seriously considering that Celestial Divinity palette, and after seeing it I kind of think that I should be. In person, this just seems to blend so beautifully. The texture is gorgeous. I didn't have to use a lot. It's very minimal effort, but I think that it has like a really good impact, or at least it does for me. Like, I can't stop looking at it. I just think it's so pretty. But I hope that you enjoyed watching this anyway. If you did like this video, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, you're welcome to tell me why, or skip to the next video. That's entirely up to you. If you've got any comments or suggestions for things that I should try next, other brands, or anything from Pat McGrath that you've tried that you absolutely adore, I want to hear about it. So please drop me a comment down below. And if you want to see more content from me, then you just have to hit that subscribe button. So yeah, but I think the most important thing is just have a great day. If you are somewhere in the world that is locked down just now, take care of your mental health, play with makeup, just, I don't know, reach out, feel free to reach out to me even if you're really struggling, just want someone to talk to. It's a hard time for everyone right now, and there is nothing wrong with you if you are struggling.